Have you noticed how the world is full of distractions? It's full of new things to chase, full of brand new shiny objects, full of things to get your attention, full of things for you to react to. And a lot of these distractions keep us just comfortable enough so that we don't have to question anything much further. I want to give you an interesting example of this from ancient Rome. There's a phrase called bread and circuses, and essentially what this means is that the government at that time would give free bread and free entertainment. And the whole point of this was to distract the people, give them enough of their basic needs so that they don't have to search much further. And it was used as a way to simply distract people from significantly larger problems. Now, I want to use this, and I want to kind of, instead of making an external boogeyman, I want to kind of flip that around and ask you the question, why does your own mind distract you? Why is your own mind seeking distraction from yourself? Could it be that there's something to hide that it's not trying to show you? Could it be that there's something more to this pattern of distraction that we are rather ignorant of simply because we do not look into it? Essentially, there's kind of a game going on here, right? We are this ego, apparently this sense of self that's separate from other, and it's trying to maintain itself. Our ego wants to survive and preserve its current form. And a way that it does this is through distraction. This is a profound defensive mechanism for making sure that you don't ever change. You don't ever wake up to the nature of reality or who and what you are. You don't challenge yourself. You don't grow. Your ego is able to keep you in a bubble of comfort simply by directing your attention to some brand new distraction, some new video on YouTube, some new notification on your phone, some new trend, some new song, some food. And of course, entertainment is okay, but within our culture, we've very obviously taken this to an extreme, to the point where without entertainment, without something to do, without something to distract us, we actually start to feel anxious. We can't just sit without stimulation and just be at peace. Many people just start to feel anxious. They don't know how to just be there. So could it be that the ego is actually pulling us away from something significantly deeper in order to preserve itself, basically for survival purposes? And the answer is yes, it actually is. See, again, there's this game being played where the ego is just trying to maintain itself, and our time here on planet Earth is very, very limited. You're going to die, and it's going to come far sooner than you actually think it will. And the ego is trying to just kind of run out this clock so that we don't really have to recognize that it's an illusion, that our sense of separateness is an illusion. The ego is trying to run out this clock so that we don't have to challenge ourselves, we don't have to face any of the unresolved emotions that we have. We don't have to question our beliefs. We don't have to inquire into the nature of reality. We don't have to grow. We're able to just stay in this little bubble or box of comfort until we die. And this isn't something that, of course, the mind just kind of says is happening. It's just kind of happening in the background. All you really experience is the urge to go eat another piece of chocolate cake or to go and grab your phone. But meanwhile, there's a much kind of deeper dynamic going on here. So we basically avoid ourselves in countless ways through distractions. We avoid our true nature, right? Because you're not just the ego, you're pure consciousness. You're pure just unity consciousness, the very source of existence. That's what you actually are. That's what this experience is. And that's what you are. But of course, you probably don't recognize this because you're always just jumping from thing to thing to thing, never able to actually sit with experience long enough until that shift in perception actually occurs. The ego distracts us from our own feelings, our own unresolved emotions, which keeps it chasing for more and more and more and more, and always kind of feeling restless and anxious. Because if we actually address those things, that would be a shift in perception. That'd be a shift in our sense of self. That would lead us on the path to awakening and healing and growth. And of course, all that means change, which to the ego is interpreted as death. The ego wants to maintain whatever it is presently identifying as at all costs. And this comfort becomes very familiar. See, these distractions, they just provide us with enough fulfillment so that we don't have to, see what's kind of happening behind the curtain, right? Here's your bread, go watch the circus. Oh, okay, yeah, my bread, my circus, my iPhone and my laptop and my tasty chocolate cake and the TV, right? Enjoy the bread, go enjoy the circus, right? It's kind of cleverly done. And it's funny that this was actually done in history and it still is. But what's even more clever is that our minds do it to itself for reasons that we don't really enjoy looking at. We often don't enjoy looking at them. We have this fear of facing our true self, because to face our true self means that we have to go through all the delusions and wounds that keep us closed and locked in the ego. We have to go through this whole process of changing from a caterpillar to a butterfly, and the ego is trying to prevent this, is trying to slow this down, is trying to distract us from it, is trying to pull us away from the evolution of consciousness in mankind, which is ultimately inevitable. It creates this illusion of busyness. There's always something that's got to get done. There's something new to do, something to do, something to rearrange, something to fix. We can't just be. Don't just sit there, do something. Don't just do something, sit there. Right? There's this illusion of constant busyness, constant productivity, which is just another distraction. Of course, all this stuff within moderation, right? Of course, right? I understand that. But get the point of view that I'm trying to give to you here, right? Don't take this as an absolute, but see the gold in what I'm actually trying to tell you here. That so much of this is designed, in a sense, to kind of keep you asleep, to kind of keep you numb, and your own mind is doing it to itself. I'm not trying to make an external boogeyman out of anyone. I'm saying that your mind is the CEO of this operation. And all the human minds share this very same mechanism. And essentially, we have to break this cycle through awareness. We have to start recognizing what's going on here and snap into real-time present moment awareness, which isn't just thinking about something, it's beyond thought, purely witnessing, being, just seeing without judgment. This allows us to start to shift out of the ego and make a conscious choice that breaks the old patterns, the patterns that are built on avoidance, distraction, wounding, etc. So these distractions prevent us from self-realization. They prevent us from realizing our full potential. But of course, they don't phrase themselves as that. They phrase themselves as fun. They phrase themselves as, wow, that chocolate cake tastes really good. Wow, that movie is so good, you have to watch it. And of course, right, I'm not telling you to never enjoy chocolate cake or to never enjoy a movie ever again. But what I'm ultimately telling you is that don't let your ego win this kind of underlying battle, this battle of staying asleep versus waking up. Don't let the ego allow your life to just go on by, the clock just keeps ticking, without you ever realizing your nature, your potential, without you ever going through your wounding, doing the necessary inner work. Right? What is a monk, a deeply committed monk? Well, what's really going on here? He's ensuring that his ego does not win this battle. Someone like Dogen or the Buddha or Jesus or Lao Tzu, what's really going on here? They've won the battle against their sort of own ego, ultimately, by surrendering to the moment, by learning to actually see the ego clearly for what it is, and not hate it, but just to fully be with it and not allow it to just control their every action, but to integrate the healthy aspects of it and to let go of the unhealthy aspects of it. So the ego kind of just wants to win this game, right? Essentially the reasoning is, if I let the clock tick long enough, then we don't have to feel this pain that we buried when we were age 4. We don't have to go through the shock of realizing our true nature. We don't have to question any of these beliefs that are deeply attached, that we're deeply emotionally attached to, right? We can just kind of, float on by, and you get the point. So time passes unconsciously. The ego tries to grip on to control in a way that usually just leads to frustration and suffering. The ego kind of flourishes in the background as long as we don't shine awareness on it. And our true freedom lies beyond the ego and all these mechanisms that it has of avoidance and distraction. The real fulfillment that we ultimately want lies beyond just being stuck in the ego, transcending it while simultaneously including it, not repressing our sense of self, not repressing or spiritual bypassing our relative, ordinary reality in human existence. That's it for this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I'm doing one-to-one coaching. You can apply to work with me. Take it easy.